Alright, so here's the second part to those that were wondering about the lights that were underneath the vehicle. As far as putting them in, if you notice, you always have your dome lights that will turn on when you open the door. So the easiest way to do it is to come through the headliner so you can actually tap into those. Now, as far as a 2014 Chevy Silverado, when you go ahead and you'll pop off your cover here, you'll notice there is a little clip right there that's attached. Okay, just make sure that you push this down, pull it down in order to get it off. You don't want to break that. Okay, you can see all the wires that run down the side. Now, as far as which wire you're going to tap into, okay, there should be two gray wires that run through here. Now, you may have to bust out the little zip ties that are holding these wires out, as you can see, in order to pull all the wires out to get to the gray wire. But once you get to the gray wire, all you're going to do is actually just splice into it, just as I did. I used a connector, then obviously used electrical tape to cover it, and I re-zip tied it back into position. Alright, you can just run that down into the back of your dash. Now, as far as the ground, wherever you feel that you want to locate your wires, as I did mine, I located it because I have multiples. I put mine down underneath so I can run multiple wires out of there, and I can turn them off if I'd like. So any grounding area, if you see a bolt or anything like that that has a good clean connection, you can use a grounding. Now, a lot of people have said that, oh, you can go ahead and go into the fuse panel, which is on the side, and plug in for the power right there. The problem with that is that you're not going to have the relay, so it's going to get a constant power source to it. The reason you want to tap into this gray wire is due to the fact that you want it to come on and turn off the same as your interior headlights. Now, as far as a 2014 Silverado, I do know that it is a gray wire that's attached to the lights. Now, if you do have any questions as far as depending on the year, you can always go in here, and in your headliner there's usually some screws. For example, on the 2014, this just pops out with a screwdriver, and then there's two screws within where you can take this whole thing out. You go ahead and pull that out and you'll see all your connections. All you do is just take the power, ground and use one of your light sticks to go ahead and check the power and see which one is hot when the door is open. Once you found the hot one, then all your wires will come back and run right through here. So yours may be a yellow one or a red one, but either way, all you're gonna have to do is tap into that, and it'll be controlled when you unlock, when you lock, as the lights go off when you get into the vehicle, as they dim out when you get out of the vehicle. And then you just run, like I said, the wire through. One easy tip that I found was, if you take cable type stuff that you use, to plug in your TV to your receiver, you can take this, and because it is so stiff, go ahead and use electrical tape to tie the wire off to one end and run the opposite end through the truck wherever you want it to go, if you need it to go behind other wires and things like that. That way you can just pull this and the wire will just come along with it. It's really hard when you're using 22 gauge wire to try to feed it through the back of your center console or through the back of your dash. So that's one little tip that I did see that I found very successful. I mean, you can use a coat hanger and things like that, but this gives you the flexibility to actually move in and out and around things instead of a coat hanger that's very, very stiff. When you come outside, you're going to see that my lights are lit up because I have the door open. You can buy these strips, once again, at your Kmart, your Walmart, auto parts store. It comes with 3M tape. I found that it is better to actually buy 3M tape and use that because it will stick, especially through adverse weather. You're going to run your cables underneath the ledge of the vehicle, which you have the lip that goes underneath here. Alright, you run them. You're going to pretty much put these in series. Alright, just so there's no confusion, pretty much you're going to run the rear one run the wires and tie them in with the forward wires. Okay, as you can see, I pulled down this wire right here to show you. You run them along underneath your truck. And then as you come up, this is the crappy part. Okay, you're gonna have to drill a hole. Now, as far as mine, on the 2014, you have this plastic case which easily pops out right here and right here. If you'd like, you can pull up the carpet, and there's also places where you can drill a hole. Alright, so drill a hole depending on if you're using 20 or 22 gauge wire. Get a drill bit that's slightly larger than that wire. All you're going to do is drill from the top down, put a hole in it. Now, to keep your wires from tearing up or anything like that, when you do run them up through underneath, you want to go ahead and take some silicone, put it around the hole itself, let it dry a little bit, and then poke a hole in it with either an ice pick or a scry or something, and then you run the wires through. Don't run them up prior to doing that, because obviously the wire is going to be rubbing against a rough edge, and it'll cut the wire, and you're just going to have to do repairs later on. So I did mine, and then I did mine as you can see. I didn't pull up this black piece right here, but I drilled my hole underneath, and then I ran it and I attached it, and it comes along the side to the main cables that run underneath by your sides. Okay, so this goes all the way to the back. Once you take it up there, it's pretty much however you want to run it once you get into this whole mess back here. I ran mine underneath the carpet. That way it's out of the way. It doesn't interfere with any other wires or anything like that. So mine just pretty much cuts underneath here, runs to the center console, and up. Alright, so hopefully that was a little bit, gave you a little bit of insight as far as when it comes to how to install these lights for those of you that have seen it. I know I had a couple of questions posted about it. And please, if you have any other questions or I didn't make it clear enough, please let me know.